right, boys and girls, children of all ages, Seattle Pandemic Shutdown, day 22, I think, if I'm remembering right. Tuesday. We are allegedly going to continue this shutdown, lockdown, until May 4th. Jesus. So what do we have going on today? We have police arresting people for protesting in North Carolina, and new right, Candace Owens, whatever she is, conservative, neocon, tradcon, whatever, being like escorted out of a Whole Foods by police because store policy is you have to wear a mask if you go inside. So we're running into some policy issues here that no one is actually very comfortable with, except maybe, you know, the authoritarians. Authoritarians are like, yes, go lock down, or go arrest those people for not wearing masks, for protesting, not obeying the stay-at-home order. But it's not necessarily like an order. It's like a very loaded suggestion. Kind of I highly suggest that you watch your sugar intake, meaning don't eat so much sugar, and eventually I might physically try to stop you from eating sugar, right? Something like that. Anyways, our society is going to run smack dab into this conflict. It's safety versus freedom, liberty. There are many quotes about this, none of which are particularly that helpful considering the nature of pandemics. I mean, how are we supposed to control this thing if we can't control people's behavior? We ask them, we beg them, we plead them, and then eventually you have to force them, I guess. I mean, I don't really see, aside from, okay, you have a public education angle, right? We make memes, we make PSAs, we have Dr. Fauci tell us what to do, we have CDC tell everybody what to do, and we hammer on this on social media so everybody gets the friggin' picture. Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wear a mask, you know, use the proper sanitizers, clean high-touch surfaces, you know, if you are at risk demo, take as many extra measures as possible to protect yourself. So we spread all that information. People have all this information. They are choosing to not comply because, getting crooked. Come on, man. Because basic, just kind of impulsive, or compulsive? A compulsion for liberty. Like, no, I just simply won't. I just simply will not stay home. I will gather and protest. It's my First Amendment right to peaceably assemble, and arresting people for it, I assume, will lead to some kind of major lawsuit, because there's not actually a law that you can't do that, because that would be unconstitutional, so the act itself must be unconstitutional, right? But also the private property argument, like what Candace Owens, you know, escorted out for not following store policy. Well, that's private property. Your rights are very much curtailed on private property. If I ask you to leave and you choose to not, you are now trespassing, you're now breaking the law, and now I can call law enforcement to have you removed. A similar thing happened on a bus in Philly. Basically, the bus driver said, I'm not driving this, what is it, implied anyways, what people were claiming was happening. The police dragged this guy off of the bus. Well, the argument is that the driver's union said, we're not going to drive people who aren't wearing masks. So the guy wasn't wearing a mask. Driver says, I'm not driving till you get off. The guy refuses to get off. Now he's in violation of the law. And the cops just remove him. I don't think they arrested him. I don't think they cited him, although those things are probably coming. Arrests and citations for breaking quarantine rules, right? And that's the question, is which way are we headed on this thing? Our society is not well geared for this authoritarian stuff. Travel papers, and they were talking about what is it called? Like clean papers, like you have papers that show that you're not infected or that you're not contagious, I guess. I don't know. So then, people compare this to Star of David and Soviet, travel papers and all that, and I 100% understand what people mean, but it's not exactly the same, and we will not be implementing it the same way. Like, we won't, like, people just aren't going to accept this. We aren't really, like, it's not like in China. This is the thing. You can't just tell 300 and some million Americans to just stay home and follow all these rules. Like, we have guns and we don't have to listen to you, and we do what we want. Now, that is, again, gonna run smack dab into the coronavirus, the pandemic itself. So how do we figure this out? I mean, I've been trying to make memes, I've been trying to show people sanitation methods, I've been trying to give people sanitation methods, like little bottles of alcohol and stuff. But if people aren't going to follow the rules, the guidelines, there it is again. These aren't laws, these are guidelines meant to help keep us safe. However, it may not exactly work that way in the real world, because people are selfish, people don't understand. I mean, there's literally people who think this whole thing is a hoax. So good luck getting them to practice social distancing, wearing masks, and actively sanitizing. Yeah. Is this a flaw in our society, or is this like our strength? It's just that the pandemic is a unique foe to our constitutional republic, and not just like our legal system and our political system, but like our culture. Our culture is at least allegedly one of promoting the rugged individualist, the Marlboro Man, John Wayne, right? But the rugged individualist who does what he wants is now being told what to do and where to go and when you can go there. No, you can't go to this park, it's closed. No, you can't go to, and you can't get in a gathering of people. You can't even go and protest against the lockdown, which, again, like I said, it's got to be unconstitutional to break up free assembly, even though there's a public health risk, right? Because is that going to be the new standard now? Because there's always a potential public health risk. Are you turning? Okay. Like every football game, basketball game, concert. God, think about raves where people, and concerts where people are like in mosh pits and they're just like all rubbing up against each other. Potential for all kinds of diseases to spread that could potentially be a public health hazard. So are we canceling all gatherings of people like forever, or just until we have a vaccine for this thing, and then you still have your anti-vaxxers? They're not going to take this stuff. I don't. It's going to get dicey, and at some point this will escalate to a point where, people will fight police officers. They will fight Metro people. They'll fight each other over wearing a mask, not wearing a mask. And then someone will get shot. And I'm trying to start the hashtag Corona Crazies trend on Twitter. just finding people acting out in the craziest ways, doing insane things because corona crazies, man. The woman urinating on the bus dashboard, guy running, he's butt naked in the street, just running head first into parked cars for some reason, just over and over again. You're like, what is that even? What are you even doing? Then you get people freaked out about who's wearing a mask, who's not wearing a mask. I'm saying it now. Someone's gonna get shot over social distancing. Anyways, Seattle pandemic shutdown commute. Oh man, 10 minutes. Remember, I go out so you don't have to. Bye.